Double-edged sword, a situation or course of action having both positive and negative effects. VP farming is running rampant on the global server of Vanguard Zero, and the perception of it is constantly changing depending on who you ask. But the reality is, regardless of your personal feelings on VP farming, it probably isn't going away anytime soon. The positive of VP farming is obvious. It gives you a better chance of gaining access to the cards you want to play. Vanguard Zero relies on the ever-popular gacha system to obtain cards. Because of that, it can take time to achieve the exact deck you want, even for someone who's looking to spend money on the game. In real life, you have the advantage of being able to buy specific cards. And though Vanguard Zero does have a crafting system, it's not exactly a quick process to be able to craft RR and RRs, which are often the most key components of your deck. This forces players to rely on opening packs in order to hopefully pull the cards that they do want, or earn enough crafting materials to craft them. And that brings us to the positive of VP farming. Game Studio and Bushiroad are quite generous with the free rewards that are given to players that grind the game. Each ranked season, players can earn packs of cards by obtaining up to 1.2 million VP, and then every additional 100,000 VP over that will award you one additional pack. So the advantage of VP farming is clearly that you just get more gacha pulls, essentially more chances to get the cards that you want. For players looking to remain free to play, this is an enormous opportunity. This farming is streamlined through macro recorders and auto clickers that essentially play the game for you. This results in players reaching an absurd amount of VP per ranked season, depending on how much time you can let your game auto farm. With double VP days factored in, it isn't strange to hit 9 or even 10 million VP just from this auto farming method. That's around 90 to 100 free packs of cards to use at your leisure. So you can see why players are eager to take advantage of this opportunity in the uncertain world of a game with gacha mechanics. It gives them a little insurance and a little wiggle room. Now, so far you may be thinking, well, that sounds like a great deal for free-to-play players. And it is, but it comes at a price. Because VP farming is so rewarding, it can cause an insane amount of wait time to get into a match versus an opponent who's actually playing the game. This wait time can fluctuate for any given reason, including day of the week or time of the day. Here's a clip from one of the streamers I watch and what his situation was on that day.
Shit like this, just give me a person. Just give me a person, please. I just want to fight a human being. You had a real opponent in the last hour. When did I start streaming? Hour and a half ago? No.
He had faced 9 VP farmers in a row and basically hadn't had a real match in almost an entire hour of trying to play the game. Now, for some people, mindlessly grinding through hordes of farmers may not be a bothersome task, especially considering you get free ranks for doing so. But for others, this can be extremely off-putting and detrimental to them wanting to play the game. I have a friend who basically quit the game because he only has about an hour or two to dedicate to playing the game a day, and oftentimes he only got one real match out of that hour because of the sheer amount of farmers. So he just quit the game because it wasn't worth it having to sift through all those farmers just to have one enjoyable match. And while yes, there are friend fights available, those are not the most reliable because you will have to try and find a friend who's also free at the time and is also down to play. But even then, it's not the same experience as just turning on the game and queuing up into a match with a random opponent. The extra steps can turn it more into a task than an experience for some players. Japan's server does have a tournament mode feature that I'm sure will eventually come to global, and that can help add some alleviation to the problem, but even then it's not a complete fix because last time I checked, tournament mode is only available on the weekends. That still leaves a whole bunch of time where ranked ladder is the main form of playing the game. Regardless of whether or not you think VP farming is a current issue or not, I think there's an easy solution for this air quote problem, and it revolves around making an entirely separate normal queue that has nothing to do with the ranked ladder. This isn't really an abnormal thing, as almost every multiplayer game out there these days comes with both normal and ranked modes. Now, this alone isn't enough to alleviate the frustration of players that have to deal with VP farming. To really seal the deal, we have to touch on VP gains per match. Currently, as it stands, both the winner and loser in a ranked match gain 2,000 VP. However, if we alter that to the winner getting 3,000 VP and the loser getting 1,000 VP, all of a sudden it becomes inefficient for VP farmers to farm in ranked queue when they will be losing out on that additional guaranteed 1000 VP. So they will all go and VP farm in normal mode where the VP gains are still 2000 each regardless of win or loss. Not only does this weed out the farmers and gathers them primarily into one area, but it also adds a little bit more of stakes to the ranked ladder, which is supposed to be competitive anyway, since that's what ranked modes are. In my opinion, this change would fix the current issues some people are having. It allows people to VP farm the same way they always have, just in a separate game mode, and it allows the players who get frustrated by running into farmer after farmer that sanctuary where they can really just play the game in ranked mode. Now some of you may say, well Red, that's no fair, I can't VP farm and gain ranks at the same time. And to that I say, good, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you want to VP farm, it should be at the cost of climbing the ladder. I think that is a perfectly reasonable balance that people will have to choose between amongst themselves. Now a side effect from this change could be a slightly longer wait time for a game since we're splitting the game into two separate modes. That is a reasonable critique, but to that I would say, if you have to wait an extra 1 to 2 minutes to get a game on ranked mode, what's the difference between that and being forced to fight a farmer as it currently is? So realistically, I don't think it would present that huge of an issue. Those are my overall thoughts on this situation though. I support the ability to VP farm since I know the appeal it has and how that can make or break this game for free to play players. But I think tweaking the game to the suggestion I made will allow for better health of the overall game and add better player retention in the long run. But again, these are my thoughts. If you've stuck around this far, I'd love to hear your comments down below. Chime in on what your opinions are and what you would change or not change. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe with notifications on to stay up to date with future Vanguard content. See you guys next time.